Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
You were very close to explaining what that was in your hand, and then you turned into a garbled digital monster.
That's because I am now the lead singer of Ministry Just One Thanks. That's the name of their new album, Garbled Digital Monster.
Garbled. That's what's in the parentheses underneath the impronounceable title.
Yeah.
Garbled.
That would
digital
be
monster.
good.
It would be good.
Ministry, it's pretty impressive that dude's not dead from heroin.
Yeah.
Are either of them dead? Clive Barker or not Clive Barker?
Clive Barker's a writer.
Clive Cussler.
No.
Clive Cussler was in Ministry. That's true.
Yeah, Clive Barker and Clive Cussler are the two main guys in Ministry. It's all about Dirk Pitt escaping. I don't know who his arch villain group was. I know he was just a mere oceanographer with elite military training. Or I guess he still is. Dirk Pitt's not dead, is he? Mike, you're the Clive Cussler expert.
Oh yeah, no, he's still alive. He's lost 4 wives at this point
to murder.
But Jack Wharton estate is our IP is very different from the Dirk Pitt IP, and we're in a little bit of a legal.
Right. Did Jack Wharton's raise the Titanic somehow raise some legal issues with the folks?
There's the Jack Wharton book. It's called Re-Blow Up the Titanic.
Sure.
Just to remind the listener who may have joined us recently, who is Jack Wharton again?
Well, there's a series of films that I wrote the novels, and they're also films that I've starred in, and it's Jack Wharton, sort of a adventurer man. He's kind of basically James Bond meets Indiana Jones.
Wow.
He also knows about parapsychology. He also knows about the occult. And unlike those guys, he's trained in parkour. And
does he say parkour before he does his parkouring? Sometimes
after. But sometimes like a funny, little like a line, like he'll beat up a guy like in front of a building, and then he'll like beat up a guy and finally, jump on his head and it'll go parkour, and then a car will roll up and go park here.
That's a good line.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I would like to tell the listener who has recently joined us that hang on, it gets better from here.
Well, you got to see the movies. You got to read the books,
right. Where do you get the books again?
Libraries.
And for the listener, Mike, I know this is an issue that's been in the news a lot
Truck
lately.
Stops.
The Jack Wharton series, at least as adapted to film, has been heavily censored to comply with the requirements of the Chinese government. Is that
not censored at all? Things come out the way that I write them. I hate censorship.
So you are specifically the one who is altering the works, the Jack Wharton works.
I'm not altering. They're just. I don't. There's no. I write, and then I film, and I act, direct, star, produce, edit. And
are you the dog trainer?
It is. Well, there hasn't been a dog trainer in over 2 films.
Does Jack Wharton ever make his way to Taiwan? Does that ever happen? Does Taiwan exist in the Jack Wharton universe?
He's been all over the world, but mostly it's like interstellar adventures.
That's true. The backward skeletons.
He oftentimes fights in outer space, but sometimes you'll see him fighting in inner space.
Randy Quaid.
What? No, that's not Randy Quaid. That's Dennis Quaid.
No, it's Randy Quaid. We established that before.
Martin Short.
Quaid. Rick Moranis.
What's her name?
Dennis Quaid, Martin Short.
Meg Ryan.
Dennis Quaid.
Man, Meg Ryan's not in that. It's the lady from Kiss the Spider Woman is in it.
Raul Julia.
I think that's Gomez Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dead, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was the last thing? Wait, what was? Wasn't he in
Street
something?
Fighter 2 is the last thing he did.
Yeah, I think so.
Legacy.
Yeah.
He was M. Bison. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do we know what does the M stand for? Monsieur?
No, I'll tell you what it is. It's a funny thing. M. Bison, originally that name was attached to the character in the video game that looked exactly like Mike Tyson.
Oh, okay.
And then they switched, and the character that was the M. Bison character with the Raul Julia played, his name was Balrog. And they switched the characters' names when they ported the game over to the States because they're like, oh, we're definitely going to get sued for this. And I don't know if they did or not. You would think they would have.
So M. Bison, like M. Tyson.
M. Bison sounds like, yeah, Mike Tyson, M. Bison.
You want some truth telling this week?
See, we taught. The listeners already learned something.
They have, and that's what this is a
valuable, and that's what this
is
whole
a news
podcast
program.
is about.
Mhm.
Learning, sharing, life hacks.
A lot of life hacks coming together. Togetherness is a big part of this.
Here's the biggest life hack that I think you can have is be born into a rich family.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I hadn't considered that, but I think you may be right.
Yeah.
I think that's where I really blew it. That's where.
Yeah, a lot of us did.
Yeah.
Or be a real genius type. Be born a savant.
Although even then, better to be born into a rich family.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
think
rich
we-
savant. You're gonna go places.
Oh, right. You got it made then.
Yeah. So, you guys ready to get started this week?
Yeah, can I just say I'm sore from cool sculpting?
Oh, did you go to Sonobello?
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
Sonobello.
Cool sculpting.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, they shoot you with ice lasers to get stubborn fat off of you.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's what it is.
It's ice
And-
lasers. That's what it is. Yeah.
So they sculpted you with cold lasers.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting stubborn fat off me with high-powered ice lasers. And they're also the newest sponsor of the show. So,
Wow.
Oh.
yeah.
Where's this? I haven't gotten any money.
It's your life. Live it beautifully. Sonobello.
Exactly. And, they're paying us in getting me cool sculpted. So,
Yeah, but nobody can see you. Our listeners don't know what you look like.
hey, I'm sure most of them follow me on social media,
Right.
subscribe to my Tumblr.
They're certainly imagining you in their heads right now.
Yeah, that too. They get the newsletter that I mail out, the weekly mailer.
What part of your body do you think they're imagining you had destroyed by ice lasers? Right
It's
now?
not destroyed. It's just
Sculpted.
sculpted.
with ice
Ex-sculpted.
lasers.
Probably my stubborn midsection,
Yeah. The old spare tire.
the old spare tire, and I'm
The
telling
love
you,
handles that nobody loves.
that nobody loves. I got to get in shape, fellas. This has gone on too long.
Man, I have, since fucking COVID, I have gotten in terrible shape, gotten in really good shape, and now I'm backsliding into terrible shape again. I'm going through an
Yeah.
entire cycle of unhealthy living. It's too
Yeah.
bad.
I'm not fit, but I'm going to be. I got to get in shape for this new Jack Wharton.
Right.
What is that one called?
It's called Jack Wharton Upside Down, Inside Out, in the Bowels of Heck. I made the choice to not use the word hell because it offends certain people.
I think of all the things.
Hell is a bad place. I think most cultures agree that hell is a bad place and that hell is an awful place that you would hate to think of your ancestors living in.
A very ancestor
It
focused
depends
culture.
on the ancestor, really.
Well, I mean, I'm not related to anyone who ever did anything wrong, so.
Wow.
Maybe that's how you got the amulet. Maybe it was earned by your clean living ancestors.
Oh, so you're
Yes.
saying that Mike was born into that
No, I earned that amulet.
Mm-hmm.
by being born? Yeah, we know. We heard.
No, by a feat of strength.
How many oxen did you lift? Is that, I feel like that's the only feat of strength that counts anymore.
I had to snap an oxen's neck. It
Oh, man.
Oh.
was a lot of work.
Well, sure.
Then when we feasted on it.
Oh, at least it got some use.
Just its tail, but yeah.
Oh,
You just ate the tail?
Yeah.
like
In a
raw
soup?
or like like
You
a
get
soup.
oxtail soup?
By ate, I mean dried it out and inhaled and snorted it.
It's starting to sound like this doesn't actually involve an animal, but a metaphor of some sort.
No. I like for everything to be firm. Oxtails make everything firm. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
What do you mean, like pillows?
Everything.
So, is this a rhino horn thing? Is this are you saying that this is a...
If you
Would you
dry
say-
out an ox, I mean, we all know what happens if you dry out an oxtail, grind it into a fine powder,
Sure.
and then snort it.
Okay.
Okay, just remind us. I mean, obviously we know this.
And you do it on the summer solstice.
Oh,
Then you're known to have a bountiful harvest.
and by bountiful harvest, one would mean
You just spray everywhere.
just marking your territory left and right. Right. I get it.
All right, you guys ready to get started here?
I'm ready.
I suppose I'm ready.
Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with
I'm Brian Camp.
I'm Mike Wiebe.
And to your right is...
No one. A phantom, a ghost, a whisper on a windy night, a trace of what was and no longer is. It's not Mark Ryan. Who knows where he is?
Oh,
I hope he's not dead because that sounded final.
They say he can dance between the raindrops.
wow,
Who was that said about? That's very
poetic.
beautiful, Mike.
Yes.
That's a very nice way to describe the person who systematically has stabbed us in the back yet again.
Mhm. Well, I was actually stealing a line from a Jack Wharton book because that was how a bunch of, how people described Jack Wharton, because that's kind of what he is. But yeah, I was being facetious. Mark is just out to ruin us. He's ruining my life.
He told me he was just hanging out with his real friends tonight.
Bunch of German krautrock guys.
Krautrock. Do you think is it okay to call Germans krauts?
I think krautrock is appropriate.
They get called what we call them, and they have to deal with it.
All right.
So our first story comes to us from Time Magazine.
Oh. Yes, the favorite. It's a periodical about watches and watch keeping.
Mm-hmm. That's where I learned all that interesting information about stopwatches from reading
Yes.
Time.
That's interesting because this story doesn't have anything to do with time.
Mm-hmm. Well, you probably didn't pick up on it, but I'm sure once we hear about it, we'll be able to identify the time connection. Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that you're setting the record straight here.
That's right. Well, don't worry. We'll point out your errors, Kevin.
Yeah.
We'll take care of
I've
it.
never doubted that.
Yeah, that's good.
A 14.5 foot or 4.5 meter female saltwater crocodile has become an icon to the people of Palu, Indonesia, because for the last 6 years, it has lived with a motorcycle tire stuck around its neck. The crocodile was often seen swimming in the city's river, and over the years, the tire has gotten tighter, leading to fears that one day it might choke the crocodile.
Probably what it wants.
What it's into. Are we
Sometimes-
kink shaming crocodiles right now? I don't feel
Yeah, I
good
don't-
about this.
I don't know that
Sometimes
that's
it's-
okay
Yeah, it's a thing.
to kink shame them.
Sometimes people like consensual rough play.
In 2020, an Australian crocodile wrangler attempted to catch the crocodile so the tire could be removed, but he failed.
Hey, Kevin,
Yes.
can I point out that 2020 is a year and references a time?
Time is on my mind.
Now we're going to have to pay songwriting royalties to the Rolling Stones.
I don't think
Thanks.
we will. You're telling me
Yes.
that there's a crocodile hunter in Australia
Yes.
in the
It's-
year 2020?
Crocodile wrangler.
I think there's a way more interesting story that's getting covered up here. Did they describe him as being translucent?
No, he's got a show on National Geographic.
Yeah, but it's all reruns.
His name was Matthew Wright.
that is clearly a cover name. That's not real.
A fake. I've never heard a more fake name.
Have you ever heard of an Australian named Matthew Wright?
Yeah, they can't even pronounce the word Matthew over there.
Yeah, that sounds like a
how do
Canadian.
you say it?
Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
I can't figure it out. That's what they sound like over there.
Yeah.
I feel like Steve Irwin, if he had been the crocodile wrangler, he would not have failed.
He wouldn't have failed.
Yeah, this guy failed.
Well, yeah, but he's a ghost now. We're talking about a ghost. So every time he gets close to the crocodile and he grabs it, his hands go right through it.
Right.
And the crocodile feels a chill and
Wow.
sees orbs.
Well, he's also constantly being chased by the ghost of a stingray.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's
They're
true.
locked in an eternal... Because they killed the shit out of that stingray.
Oh, yeah. There's probably a constellation in the southern hemisphere that you can see that's him somehow gripping the wings and punching a stingray.
Yeah.
That's what's on their flag, right? Is that the Australian flag?
That is true. Yes, that is actually correct.
Yeah, it's a guy in one of his little safari outfits holding up the stingray in one hand and then punching, but it's punching through it and
Right.
it's breaking out, and then the eyeballs of the stingray are flying out and with a real like kind of look. Draw that. That's a new shirt.
It is a
That's
new
a new
shirt.
shirt.
That's a good one.
So, in January this year, a local bird catcher determined to rescue the crocodile after he saw it sunbathing in a nearby estuary.
Ah, I know why.
Why is that?
Dinosaurs descended from birds. Crocodiles are dinosaurs.
Oh, good connection.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Kevin, you may not know this, but dinosaurs walked the earth a long time ago.
Ooh.
I can tell you this, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Dinosaurs lived for so long that by the time dinosaurs died out, there were already fossils of dinosaurs.
Man, our Earth was a real lizard-friendly scene for a long time.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
This is a lizard planet.
I mean, yeah. Wasn't that the whole premise of Land of the Lost?
Oh, I thought you meant you were talking about that show Dinosaurs.
I never saw that show. I don't know what
They're
that is.
not the mama.
Did they film dinosaurs? How did they film? Like, did they find? I'm very confused right now.
No,
about
it's
what
just
we're talking
that
about.
show was just about. It was a reality show about the band Kiss.
Oh.
So this bird catcher told the Associated Press, quote, "I have experiences and skill in catching animals, not only birds, but farm animals that are released from the cage. I believe I could rescue the crocodile with my skills."
But he could. I mean, he's confident. That's most of what life is confidence.
That's true.
If you say you can capture a crocodile, probably can do it.
That's step
Yeah.
one.
Unless you're a ghost, and then it makes things
Right.
a mite bit more difficult.
You probably have to catch a crocodile on your vision board at home. Isn't that part of the secret?
Hmm. I actually have that written on my vision board. It's
Catch a
like
crocodile.
further down. It's not like my main priority, but I
Right.
would at some point like to catch a crocodile. Did you know? I just heard this the other day
Uh-huh.
that crocodiles
Mm.
and alligators
Mhm.
are not genetically related.
What? I refuse to believe that.
I mean, it depends. Like, you and I are not genetically related, so I think it depends on.
Thank God.
I think it depends on how far back you go.
Well, I mean, at some point we're all from a paramecium that was dropped off by an alien spacecraft. Yes.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I have no more information to back this up with, so I'll simply stop right
Not
there.
to. Maybe they just don't have enough in common. They don't have a common genetic ancestors. Perhaps an identifiable
I
common.
mean, at a certain point, they would
genetic
have to, though.
They didn't Well, it depends. It could have been a different alien ship with a different paramecium. Maybe that's
Yeah.
how they're so evolved. That's how they go to war against each other. Because no one evolves past war. As they just start.
The War of the Cayman.
Well, they start two different or multiple different lines of evolution on a planet like Earth 4,000 years ago, and those.
You pitching your science fiction novel to us again?
No, and they alien races watch from afar to see who created the most superior genetic line, and maybe the alligators and the crocodiles are just mid battle, and we're just a blip on the war that's raging across the galaxies.
So the man built a trap and used chickens, ducks, and birds as bait. So in the story,
a piece of shit bird catcher.
It didn't say whether the birds were alive or dead. That's what he used as bait. And after 3 weeks of waiting, he trapped the crocodile in early February. The man and two of his friends then pulled the trap ashore and sawed through the tire, which was 1.6 feet or 50 centimeters in diameter.
Oh, good. I needed to know that. Thanks.
Well, we're the international news service. We can't just use the American.
50 centimeters. Would you say that's half a meter?
Yes.
Interesting.
But we're not NASA. We can't just eyeball it. We have to be correct for the entire world.
NASA didn't eyeball anything.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did? Are we pro? Wait, I don't know.
Well, they did.
Getting to the moon was pretty tough, man.
I know, but then they did it. Then they got cocky, and then they tried to eyeball another one. Is the Challenger mission?
Oh no!
Oh no!
For the listener, Mike is frozen on his screen, laughing maniacally.
I think he's.
I not. I didn't. I don't laugh at the truth. I sit in it.
That's always been your favorite historical moment. Your favorite.
Well, I didn't get to watch it with everyone else.
I didn't either.
They didn't let us watch it. You know why? Because Mrs. Hildebrand had a real stick up her ass. I bet she's listening. I hope she hears that.
Oh, I'm sure she's listening.
Yeah, I'm positive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that thing. If you're a grade school teacher, you have to listen to all your kids' podcasts.
Right. You're forced to. That's right. She's probably just decided, I'm going to see what, I always thought a lot of Michael. I always thought he would go places, but it was really important for me to insert some discipline in his life. And part of that was not letting him watch the Challenger going to space. And I had a bad feeling that day, similar to the man who didn't get on the airplane and left the airport and went home, according to Time Life books. Time Life books.
Read the book.
Read the book. And she decided, I'm going to see what Michael's doing. And you just told her she had a stick up her ass.
Can I also respond to some other Miss Hildebrand issues?
Okay.
Chill out on the makeup. You look like a clownish whore. Your big smile is creepy.
So what you're saying is this woman was very nice and you just don't like her?
No, she's like a real phony religious type, but like real, very convenient for her. I don't think she walked the walk is what I'm saying.
Well, that's an issue in that community. So you've identified something about it.
There's talking and walking, and there's talking and walking. Wait, what? And there's some people that do not follow through.
Where does skipping come into this?
Well, the Baptist community's outlawed that, especially for men.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just finish this up here real quick.
Okay, yeah, finish this shit up.
Indonesia recorded 279 crocodile attacks between 2007 and 2014. Out of these, as many as 268 attacks were carried out by saltwater crocodiles, with about half being fatal.
They got tigers in Indonesia too?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Let me ask you this. Why did we have to hear about these crocodiles killing people?
Just, wrapping it up. We had a story about a famous saltwater crocodile. And
did that famous saltwater crocodile kill anyone or attack anyone?
Not yet.
Well, what if that crocodile, now that it has the thing off, becomes best friends with the canary trapper that trapped it?
Right. Maybe the crocodile was just trying to clean up the environment that man has laid waste to.
It didn't seem to like him very much. They had to call game warden to actually free the crocodile because they were afraid they were going to get bitten once they had cut off the tire.
Crocodiles are a lot meaner than alligators, right?
Yes, they're bigger.
And did you know that they're also not related at all?
You know,
Yeah, we talked about that 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Do you think maybe they don't share a common genetic ancestor?
They are not the same phylum.
No.
So the Sumatran tiger is from Indonesia.
Oh yeah, they're big killers of people too.
Man, this is a deadly animals episode.
Don't they wear masks on the back of their head? Isn't that a thing you do to keep tigers from pouncing on you from behind?
Yeah, I think they do that in India. I think they paint faces on like cow butts for the same reason.
Yeah, they do that at Carnival too in Rio.
Wow.
It's a decadent party.
Yeah.
You guys ready for our next story?
Boy, oh boy, am I.
I'm going to make a prediction at the beginning of the story.
Ah.
I think the subject of this story will be Brian's favorite person.
Well, I'm already enjoying this, or I'm about to become enraged. One or the other.
Yeah, scoot over, George Peppard.
So this next story... What?
I do like George Peppard.
That's what I'm saying. You might have a new favorite.
Yeah. When he opens up that neck hole in the credits of the Godzilla, and he's got the cigar in his mouth. That's all I know George Peppard from. I know he was in other stuff. He was, wasn't he in Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Yeah.
A movie that has a song about it that I have never seen.
That band, that crappy band, was from Denton as well.
Let's say.
Yeah.
I don't think they were from Denton. They were
Is it on the sign when you drive into Denton?
It's home of a number of crappy bands. And Roy Orbison.
And Meatloaf, who's now dead.
So this next story comes to us from the Washington Post.
Wapo.
Wow, Powell.
Now, as I think my co-hosts know, the older you get, the harder it is to make friends. Well,
No, I don't know that.
how many friends do you have?
I mean, like fucking tons.
I mean, we've known you since high school. You were like,
Yeah, but it's
16
not
then.
hard. It's not any harder for me to make. In fact, it's easier now.
I mean, it just seems like we're your
because
only
I
friends.
have something that everybody wants.
What is that?
A magic amulet. Everybody's trying to kiss my ass because they think that maybe that, I'll like let them touch it or whatever.
You like ride share the magic amulet with them?
Well, I don't know what they want. It's duplicitous though. But nonetheless, they want to be friends. They want to hitch their wagons to this rocket ship.
To be honest, this is all just one long con mic for me to get my hand on that amulet myself. This is sooner or later.
I'm not unaware.
So, after 2 years of being locked up in their house together, a San Francisco woman told her 43-year-old, seemingly friendless husband that the pandemic had made him weird and that he needed to make some friends. The man responded in one of the weirdest ways possible by typing up flyers and taping them to telephone poles around the neighborhood. The flyers contained an address, a time, and the phrase, quote, "Come by and say hi and have some pancakes with me." The man then put on a chef's hat, set up an outdoor electric griddle, and started ladling out pancake batter. He said, quote, "I wasn't expecting anyone to show up because I didn't know if people read flyers." He also added that, quote, "Everybody in my life thought I was insane."
It worked. Did he make a bunch of friends?
Well, when asked why pancakes, he said, quote, "Even if you don't like to eat pancakes, you just like the idea of them. Being around pancakes feels good, even if you're not eating them yourself." Then he said, quote, "If you see someone making pancakes for strangers, you'd probably think, that person is nice." Nevertheless, about 100 people showed up to his January event. So he scheduled a second one in February, and 300 people showed up.
But did he make any friends? Was there an outcome of friendship?
Right. If people like you just for your pancakes, are they really your friends?
Yeah,
that's
it's like
true.
people that like you just for your amulet.
How is your amulet with syrup?
Cairo syrup and Dr. Pepper.
It will reject it. If it's like, it's like similarly polarized magnets. Died from magnets because he swallowed a magnet, and then somebody walked by with unknowingly walked by with another magnet, and the magnet ripped out of his.
Oh.
It was already in his colon, so
A rare earth magnet.
because he was trying to pass it, and
Yeah.
it ripped out. small intestine, and they just did not have the technology to deal with,
No.
sepsis and fecal wounds and stuff. They weren't able to do fecal
Right.
transplants back then.
No.
They brought in a snake charmer, but Houdini wouldn't let him. He didn't believe in it, so he just died.
He didn't. He was afraid of snakes, like
Snake
Indiana
charmer
Jones.
for magnets?
Well, just to try to get his guts to go back in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But Houdini famously was a skeptic of things like that.
Yes, and he hated
That is true.
he hated that song.
There's a place in France.
Yeah,
With
he
a-
hated-
yeah.
yeah.
Is that the name of the song?
I think so.
I think that is.
There's a place in France.
It's
Sure.
in France.
Yeah, so he set up a GoFundMe to make future pancake parties more financially sustainable.
Oh, Jesus.
But to answer your point, to answer your question, if his point was to make friends, I couldn't find a single article that said the man had actually made a friend.
He's a pancake grifter.
Mhm.
I mean, if somebody made good pancakes and they seemed sanitary, would you stop by and be like, I don't like you, but I'll
Here's
eat
his
your
first
pancakes?
mistake. Pancakes are inferior to waffles.
I don't know about that.
I do know about that, and I'm right.
Like a thin waffle wrapped up like a taco.
Either way.
Wait, what?
Either way.
I'm going French toast first of all.
Oh,
And then-
bullshit.
Like 1% of waffles are made like perfectly where they're crispy on the outside and and soft and good on the inside, and like 1% of waffles, and then all pancakes, and then the 99% of waffles.
Because I haven't gone around the country and tried everyone's pancakes and waffles and taken a survey of how many are good or bad. I'm
You haven't
saying,
yet.
It's on your vision board just below.
Well, it is, yeah. But
Capture
I'm
a
saying
crocodile.
that at the end of the day,
Yes.
the best pancake
Mm.
is not as good as a mediocre waffle.
I don't know about that.
Mm.
I know about that.
Yeah, well, and to be fair to Mike's point, you almost always get one waffle and you almost never get one pancake because the pancake lobby has to overcome the inferiority of the product with
Yep.
quantity, whereas the waffle stands on its quality.
Either one, a stack.
Nobody eats a stack of waffles.
You set them up, I'll knock them down.
Your willingness to do it, but that's you ordering additional waffles. You never order waffle and get a bunch of waffles. It's always just one waffle. Have you guys ever been to a restaurant that serves stacks
I've
of
never
waffles?
seen anyone serve even a flat skinny waffle.
Just stacks of Badgers.
Wow.
Stacks and stacks of Badgers. Where do waffles come from?
Waffle trees?
Belgium.
Were waffles a World's Fair invention?
Yes, they were introduced at the World's Fair in the 1962 Seattle Expo.
I forgot that you were an expert on that particular World's Fair.
I am indeed. I have pictures of that waffle stand.
1962, Kevin,
Yes.
refers to a specific time.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that wasn't in this story. But relating to time, I couldn't
Mhm.
find the exact date for the next pancake party. But I think it's scheduled for the Saturday after this episode comes out.
So I like just to respond to your comment at the very beginning of this, Kevin.
Yes.
He's not my favorite person. I like that he was seemingly friendless at the beginning of the story, and I thought that's the way an adult should be.
Right.
And then I don't
Mhm.
like that he gave in to the demand
A
that he
woman.
make friends, a woman, by putting up flyers, and then worked to attract some 100 to 300 people who
Yes.
just liked him for his waffles or for his pancakes, right?
Right.
I mean, shit, if he had put waffles up, he would have had 1,000 people there. Good thing he picked an inferior breakfast. He should have gone with Johnny Cakes. Because if anybody comes to
Wow.
see you and you're cooking up a Johnny Cake, there's a good bet that they want to be your friend.
Now
What's
I
a
know the
Johnny
difference here,
cake?
but what is a Johnny cake, Brian?
As I recall, a Johnny Cake is a potato-based pancake.
I think a
Oh,
Johnny cake is
gross.
corn-based pancake.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that something that
That's-
poor people had to
somebody-
eat or something?
Johnny's.
No.
It's what Johnny's ate.
And I don't mean poor, but like, is that like, oh, we had to eat that in the Depression or something like that?
No, I think it was like a settler food. And you're right. You might be right, Kevin. I really don't remember. I thought I thought it was with potatoes, but I could see it being with cornmeal.
That's a latke.
Is a latke with potatoes?
Mm-hmm.
Johnny cake is a cornmeal flatbread, and it was an early American staple food on the Atlantic coast.
On the Atlantic coast. That's the eastern, for our international listeners, that's the eastern seaboard of the United States.
I think they know where the Atlantic Ocean is.
Well, let's not make
Some
assumptions.
of them might not.
Mhm.
That's part of our job, is to enlighten and educate.
Geography is a big player on the International News Service.
Yep. Yeah, it is. You know, the first time I ever heard the term the Eastern Seaboard
Yes.
was from a movie. Guess what movie?
I'm going to say Wall Street.
Godzilla.
Ghostbusters.
Oh, wow.
And so I always associate that term with that movie.
How did they use it?
Just sightings up and down the Eastern Seaboard.
Okay.
But it makes it sound very cold and wet, doesn't it? You think the Eastern Seaboard.
Like if you think of like a cheese board,
Yeah.
you think it has cheese on it. So if you hear
the Eastern
seaboard, it must be
cheese board.
covered in sea.
Cold and wet and what, do you remember when Captain Picard got turned into a cyborg?
Yes.
Locutus. My name is Locutus.
Let's see. So our next story comes to us from the Associated Press.
Oh, the AP.
The AP.
The city of Hudson, Ohio, just
Oh.
outside of Cleveland,
Here we go,
Ohio.
It's in
Another
Hawk.
shoehorned Ohio.
Yeah, what
story.
is this? Yeah, what the fuck? We're supposed to be covering the world and elsewhere, and we keep coming back to Shitsville fucking...
That's a place. That's a real place in Ohio.
Shitsville,
Yeah, it's
Ohio.
called Shitsville.
Mm-hmm.
The city of Hudson, Ohio, also known as Shitsville,
Yeah.
is just
With
outside of Cleveland.
you know what? The town courthouse is on a street called Diarrhea Lane.
It's embroiled in controversy after a recent city council meeting at the town hall on Diarrhea Lane, in which the mayor said allowing ice fishing shanties on the city's 50-acre lake could lead to prostitution.
Most things can lead to prostitution, pretty much, but why are town squares getting so fucking live? Town council meetings? They're like, is it just that now we have cameras at all of them, or have they always been like this fucking wild? There's always someone, proposing that we replace all the cars with horses that have spiders on them, and there's always like some nonsense. There's always somebody suggesting a real crazy ass thing, and of course now you got all the anti-vaxxers and the QAnons and Star Wars fanatics and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's a combination of the fact that, we have cameras on them, but also...
Let's say, is it a combination of or is it just the fact that we are living in interesting times? A curse!
I think there is a lot more of a push
There it is.
to have a political engagement from just complete fucking nut jobs.
People just have time on their hands, and they've always allowed that.
What is on their hands?
Time.
Who did that? Who's that song
Interesting.
by?
Bo Diddley.
That's not Bo Diddley.
If Mark was here, he would back me up,
Yep.
but he's not.
Mark's sleeping another one off.
Probably. He's probably in some shanty over in Frozen Lake.
That's actually probably true. So the mayor, who's named Craig Schubert, said...
Crag.
Mayor Craig Schubert said, quote,
Crag. Motherfucking Crag.
Crag.
Mayor Schubert said, quote, if you allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem, prostitution. Now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. He told reporters that his comment came from his experience as a television news reporter covering people arrested for prostitution in shanties. Apparently, controversy is not new to Mayor Schubert, as he drew national attention last year when he called for school board members to resign over the use of high school writing prompts that he called child pornography.
What work can we get some examples?
No, I looked it up. I couldn't find exactly what was.
Probably a lot of stories about parents taking their kids ice fishing for the first time.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it happened to me.
Just, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's like, I wonder if is this guy insane? And or was it a writing prop that was something like, I never thought I'd be fucking another child, but, and that was the writing prop, because then it's like, well, that is child pornography.
Yeah, if that was the writing prompt, I think I'd have to be on his side. But this guy seems to jump to a lot of conclusions.
So this is really just a story about a nutball.
Who's mayor?
Ah, fuck. How does that happen? I mean, it happens all the time. Like, just crazy as fuck people. That Marjorie Taylor fucking Greene she's a thumb with crazy eyes.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Like I said, I mean, I think that there's a lot of push for just anybody who is an extremist to just be politically engaged. Because most of these jobs, they don't have to do that much. So you can just be a stand-in for just whatever crazy shit like people want you to spout.
Well, I'll say anything. You guys know that.
Oh, yeah.
Ask me to say something.
Say your butt's made out of marshmallows and ice cream.
You know that. I've already said that before.
Yeah, but just remind us.
I've said it. My butt is made out of, like...
I didn't buy that.
Yeah, but it still came off more sincere than Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't like her. She looks like she has like medical crazy eyes.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
They buzz. They're like vibrating,
Oh, like this, like that. Yeah. Just shaky eye, like that actor,
Yeah.
that big guy. He'd
What
be
big guy?
dead. There was a big guy, like a man
Bane
of size.
from the Batman movies.
No, this was a man who was
James Coco.
obese. Perhaps that could have been his name. I don't know. But he was a bald-headed fella whose eyes shook. I believe it's called nystagmus. His eyes shook at all times, like visibly.
I think you're making this up.
Nystagmus?
Yes, that's what it's called.
Cool. How can I get that?
You don't want that. You have it. It's just not pronounced enough to see.
It doesn't sound like something anybody wants.
No, I know it for a reason. Mark's probably going to cut all that out. I would prefer. So,
Hey, did you notice Mike just jumped from one side of the screen to the other?
whoa.
Yeah.
Is that how the amulet works? That every time it's not that it keeps Mike alive. It's just that it's like a prestige thing where it just creates a duplicate Mike to take the place of dead Mike.
Every second Mike dies, and every second his amulet makes a new Mike.
I mean, that would be a real quantum magic solution to that.
Well, yeah. I mean, in a quantum magic sort of scenario, we do die and are reborn every second. Like that song, "I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight." That's about coming.
That's Eddie Money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And what is coming but the money shot?
Ah.
So our next story is a bonus story. Wow. If you want to hear it, go to our Patreon and subscribe at least the $3 level. That's the Knights of Kevin level. And you'll have access to this and every other bonus story we've recorded.
And I've been told that to Patreon to the International News Service is one of the most important things you can do if you want to keep your family informed.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
It's true.
I believe somebody famous said that.
And it's the Patreon content is superior to what you're hearing right now.
This is the slightly distilled version.
Right.
The bonus content is the things that they don't that doctors don't want you to know about.
No holds barred.
Are you talking about urine again, Mike?
Doctors don't want to know this secret.
They don't want to know about your urine secret. Okay.
Here's a secret that
here.
dentists don't want you to know. Teeth are fake.
That's right. It's driving dentists crazy.
It's driving workout gurus nuts, the fact that this information is out there. Some of them are so angry that they've driven themselves mad with rage. that these Pilates secrets have leaked out.
So I'll give you a little sample of this story coming up.
Just a taste.
It's about a problem with a number of cars that some
What
people
number
might,
is 22 or
What,
Yeah, actually more
22?
than that. Probably
Is it-
a couple thousand.
or is it 69? Because that would make you intrigued with such a sexy number.
That's right.
But it's about something that some drivers might not even notice or care about, but other drivers, like Brian, might just drive their car off a cliff and say, worth it, right before they plunge into the ocean.
There's a lot of assumptions made about the way I live my life that
And when you assume, you make an ass out of you and umption, because you're assumptioning.
mhm.
Some people think that the number 69 is the sexiest number. That is not true.
What is the sexiest number?
The number that is the sexiest number is the number 0 because it looks like a hole.
Whoa. You guys are getting I'm getting a little hot here.
This is
I'm going to have to take a break.
real steamy bonus story.
So, does anybody have anything coming up?
Every first Thursday of every month at the Buzzmill East, I co-host a comedy show called Excelsior.
Shazam.
Magic.
Called Excelsior, and it's very
Open
funny.
sesame.
With a K.
Bring your kids. I don't care.
It's kid friendly.
They're going to get roasted, though. Hey, look at this little motherfucker up here. Who the fuck is dressing this little motherfucker? Go wash your ass.
Is that your catchphrase?
You just got burned. And then
Go
I point at him. You
wash
just
your
got burned. Go wash your ass.
How many kids do you make cry each week at Buzzmill?
I mean, there's
East?
not that many that come out. In fact, there's not really any kids that come out. So, but, well, no, there was one. I take it back. There was one show with the baby, and I went to go roast the baby, but then the baby was cute, especially for a baby. And because usually those things are real uggos.
Yeah.
And no, this is like a real cute kid. And I was like, I can't do this. So then I just take it apart, dismantling the system with my forked tongue.
I really hope that you incorporate "go wash your ass" in like whatever times you have worked out, whatever stuff you have worked out. Just anytime you get a laugh,
Yeah.
just as it
Go
just,
wash your ass.
just as it begins to peter out, just no context at all. Just say it and see if it works. I guarantee it'll work. I guarantee the third time you do it, people just something in their brain will tell them this is funny. I have to keep laughing now.
I mean, I have been I just, as a branding thing, I've been sort of trying to get myself listed as Mike, quote, go wash your ass, unquote, Wiebe. Go wash your ass.
I think that wraps up another week at the International News Service. Find us across social media at International News Pod. Email us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. If you ever get any friends, then tell them about INS. Check out the INS merch store at Redbubble and our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Just tell one person about International News Service, because that's the best thing that works. And if somebody's
Not the same person.
well, not but I mean, seriously, was it word of mouth as actually the best thing? So, like, legitimately tell someone. And if someone says they're not going to listen to no podcast, say, go wash your ass.
Say that either way.
Go wash your ass.
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.